Salute to all the Patreon members. I want to thank you guys for your support. Really means a lot to me. Uh, right now, I normally make these videos for the Patreon members when I'm driving, and I am driving. So if I sound distracted, or if you hear background noise, or if I have to pause for a minute to focus on traffic, then forgive me. Um, Driving right now, I couldn't make this video any earlier. Something that came up. I wanted to make something before I, head to my destination. Um, I didn't make a video. I don't think I made a video yesterday, did I? Or today. So I was like, man, I need to make something because the next time I have the opportunity to make a video is on Sunday. I don't want you guys hanging around too long. So salute to all the subscribers, all the new viewers. Check out the links in the description box below. All right. I'm sorry that I don't have my stand with me while I'm driving. I could have just had it focused on traffic, but I don't have that with me. I don't want to hold up my phone while I'm driving either. All right. So this is what I want to talk to you guys about. I've already told this to guys on the Patreon page. So let me give a disclaimer. I'm not talking about all women in Japan. I'm only talking about some, like a handful of women in Japan. All right. So this is not pertaining to all women in Japan. I'm just talking about some. With that being said, uh, for those who don't know who I am, my name is Splashway Beats. I've either been living or traveling abroad for the last 15 years. I'm on my way out the country right now. All right. One country that I've been to a couple of times is Japan. Now, Japan, when it comes to passport, bro, Japan is one of those places that a lot of people like traveling to. Um, that nostalgia feel. They grew up on a lot of the entertainment that people grew up on came from Japan, especially if you're a gamer. If you're a nerd, anime lover, gamer, then a lot of people talk about wanting to visit Japan, or a lot of the entertainment came from Japan growing up. Another thing in the Passport Bro community, at one point in time, not so much now, but you still got some guys saying this where it's like, they'll say, well, I'm done with women in the West. I want to go to the East. The kind of women that I want, they're in the East. And I need to make my way over there. Places like Japan. And they're saying all that and they don't even know what they're talking about. And you've heard me say that before. Now, can you find your significant other anywhere around the world? Yes. Right. Um, Especially in a place like Japan, it's just people kind of look at the stats, like the marital rate, and they'll say, hey, this percentage of people that are married, only this percentile actually gets a divorce. The divorce rates are low. That's how they look at it, right? They look at mannerisms that come from women over there, how they're soft-spoken, feminine, that kind of thing, and they always give praise to women out in the East. Well, I was doing some research. Mind you, I've never, ever, ever indulged in prostitution. I've never paid for an escort before. I've never, you know, I've never given my money to any woman in exchange for sex. All right. But in the Passport Bro community, or just people that travel in general, and women in America, a lot of women in America, you know, they like to trick off their money on, you know, men like to trick off their money on women going abroad. And, women, they might look down on that, right? There's a lot of women that link up with and take care and spend money on a lot of dusty dudes in America. So, you know, Some people don't look at that as the same difference. But anyways, there are guys who indulge in, you know, working women, sex workers, right? They pay for their services. I don't have anything against that. I don't have anything against guys that do that, right? It's legal. It's not illegal. And hey, have your fun, right? Have your fun. Get what it is that you want out of a woman without there being any complaints and more than likely it's going to be cheaper, right? But anyways, so I did some research on some escort websites, all right? And I came across one website that I shared on Patreon. I'm not going to say it on here. All right, I shared it to everybody on Patreon. They know that website that I'm talking about. On this website, they have a list of countries. It's like a list of all the escort websites, or the majority of escort websites around the world from a list of different countries. It's not every country from around the world, but it's a lot of countries on there. And you click on the country name, and then it takes you to another page, and they have a listing organized of all the popular escort websites from that country, and they give a rating for each website, right? They'll say, hey, this website over here, it's about an 8 out of 10. Okay. You know, 10 out of 10 for, I guess, spam or scams. Like there's, no scams. The quality of the women are very good. 10 out of 10 for pricing. You know what I'm saying? It varies. Navigating through the website, they give it a 10 stars out of 10 stars or 7 out of 10. And then they give it an overall rating. Then they give a description. Then people give their reviews on that website and say, hey, I could vouch for what this person is saying because they so-and-so have used the website, right? So I'm going through the countries and I'm intrigued by this. I'm just, doing my research. I'm like, wow, this is it's funny, but it's organized. So I click on Japan. I click on the country of Japan, and dozens of escort websites popped up. Dozens of them. I was like, wow, that's quite a bit of escort websites there. So I only clicked on one website. I want to go back and look at the other websites that they have on there. But I clicked on the website that they gave the highest rating to. And I went on there, everything was in Japanese. They had different categories. They had the women that were listed on the website. Then they had like a bunch of like cartoon animations drawn all over the website. It was, I think that was kind of unnecessary, right? Even though the age of consent is younger out there, but for the most part, all the women on there were 18 or above. But I'm like, why did they draw all these like little anime characters and like it was like it looked kind of kiddie, but I was like, okay. Anyways, so I click on a category, and I mean, I don't even think I dove into that website to its full extent. I translated it through Google Translate to translate in English. I clicked on a category something, right, to just get me through. And I look on the first page. They take you to where the girls are. And on that page, there was 50 girls. The youngest was 18, and the oldest was 65, right? So there's elderly women out there who are listed as escorts in Japan. It wasn't like the first row was like 18, 25, 33, 65. No, it was like the first row, they were young. As you scroll down, it's like, okay, damn, there's like a 48-year-old. All right, do your thing. She's still in the game. All right. Then as you scroll down even more, there's like a 53-year-old. He's like, oh, okay. But it's shocking, but it's not shocking because when I was in Korea, they have elderly prostitutes that roam around on the streets out there also, right? So I'm like, okay. Then you scroll down, that's when you see like the 60-year-olds, and I'm like, okay, shit. That's not the point of this video right here, right? That's not even the most shocking thing about that website, right? That's not the point of this video. The main thing I want to point out about that website in this video right here, hold on. I got this shithead. Damn, let me through. All right, my bad. The main purpose about this video is this. When I scroll down all the way at the bottom, there were more pages, all right? So, and it said at the bottom, these women are 1 out of 50 on this website. Then next to that, it said out of 10,152. Let me repeat myself again. They said on that website, I was only on page one. Page one had 50 women on there. And that was out of 10,152. So there was 10,152 women registered on that website as escorts. All right. So is that all women in Japan? No. Obviously not. Obviously not. Right. But here's the thing, man. That was only, and I didn't even know how to navigate through that site. I chose a category. I didn't even click on anything else on the website. Because maybe other categories had thousands more women on there. I don't know, right? But let's say that was all the women on that site. That's a lot of women to be registered as escorts. Like I went to different countries on that website I was telling you about. I went to different countries. In other countries, they didn't even have nowhere near that many women. You know, other websites, they 100 and between 100 to 200 women. No, this had 10,152 women. So what does that mean? And over 10,000 ranging from 18 to 65. And there's probably women that are older. So what does that tell you? That tells you that when you go out to Japan, right, the woman who is working at TSA at a Japanese airport, she might be an escort registered on that website. The woman that works at 7-Eleven behind the counter at 7-Eleven, she just might be registered on that website, right? When you're getting your food, the woman behind the counter, don't matter how old she is, she just might be registered on that website. When you check in at your hotel, the woman who's checking you in, giving you your key cards, she just might be registered on that website. That's a lot of women to be registered on there. And, you never know who's who. And the age range, it lets you know that, look, man, there's mothers and grandmothers, aunties that are on that website. All right. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of married women on that site. All right. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. So when you go around talking about, man, I'm done with women in the West, I want to deal with somebody in the East, there's nothing wrong with having a preference. And that doesn't mean that every woman you're going to run into over there is an escort. No. All right. But even in a developed country like that, and that was one website, mind you, there were dozens. There were dozens of escort websites there, right? You just pick and choose. Just that one I looked at, I don't know if that was a category or all the women on there, over 10,000 women. So it's like, you never know. And I learned that in Japanese culture, showing insecurities, because I mean, you questioning somebody where they've been, it might not be insecure. That might not be an insecurity, right? But uh, you raising a concern like, hey, what were you doing? Because if you're doing something you're not supposed to be doing in a relationship, that's not gonna fly with me, right? We're open like that in the West. Out in Japan, that's looked down upon. Right? So a Japanese man, if his wife says, hey, my friends from high school are coming to Tokyo to visit me, right? We're gonna go out to karaoke and then watch a movie, right? And you say, okay. And she goes out and she doesn't come back till 2 in the afternoon the next day. In Japanese culture, you calling her while it's like midnight, texting, where are you at? And then questioning her when she comes back home from both ends. Men doing that to women, women doing that to men. That's looked down upon. That's looked at as real clingy and not cool in Japan. Your response to that is just supposed to be, did you have a good time? Yes. That's it. That's the end of the conversation. You might ask, like, hey, what was the best part of the night, or this, that, and the third. But to be like, you coming in at 2 o'clock in the afternoon the next day, you don't even fucking tell me, that's looked down upon in Japan. It's almost acceptable to pay for an escort and to have fun on the side, not only in just Japan, but in a lot of Asian countries. Right. So not acceptable, but it's known. Like, that's part of the culture. Whereas like out here in America, it's illegal. All right. So that's what I wanted to share with you guys. So the next time you're like, hey, I want me an Eastern woman, like, hey man, and that doesn't represent all, but can you handle the cultural norms over there? Right. You could be an exchange student in Japan and your professor might be registered on that website. Now, does that mean that they're actively getting calls, getting clients every? No. With that many women on one website, they probably won't ever get a customer or a client to hit them up. Because if you're on the 200th page, right, it's like you way back there. You're not, nobody's hitting you up, right? Nobody may ever hit you up. But the fact that you made a profile and you put it on there just in case, it says a lot, right? A lot of people, they're about their money. Could this be the reason why they're at a negative birth rate? I don't know. They have a lot of little, not so much sex workers, it's like affection workers, where I watched this YouTube video where they had like a cafe where there were women and they weren't there to have sex with the guys. They were only there to listen to the guys talk and have a conversation with him. Just somebody to talk to, right? You can go there and hold women. You can go there and cuddle with women, but there's no penetration at the cafes, and you pay hourly for that. They have those cafes in Japan, right? So, are they considered sex workers? I mean, somebody in a relationship, somebody in a marriage, I don't think none of y'all would appreciate a woman even doing that to make money on the side. Some guys don't care. Another thing, there was one guy who, you know, he was a black dude I knew out there. I mean, he was banging different women every single day out there. And I'm like, dog, where is he meeting these women at? All right. And I think some of them he met, either on a dating site or just on the street. I think a lot of those women, he met them off of those websites right there. I'm like, this is like your third woman of the day, and nah, he talking about like, yeah, this is side chick number 27, and this, nah, you paying, all right, you paying. So let's read some of the comments. Hopefully I don't crash. I'm only going to Japan to F a Gaijin hunter while she's dressed as a cat girl, do the Mario Kart street tour, eat some great food, go to an underground car show and leave. Hilarious. You are correct. It's acceptable. The wife prefers as long as it's no emotional attachment. Yeah, some cultures, it's like, all right, it is what it is. Like, because I know in Asia, it's the highest rate of sexless marriages in the world, right? I know South Korea was up there, Japan was up there. I mean, I remember one time, my first time going to Korea, I booked an Airbnb and I stayed at someone's house while they were there. And I had just learned about Airbnb at the time, not even realizing you can rent the whole house by yourself, without anybody being there. I'm like, oh, okay, damn. But the first couple of times I used Airbnb, there was somebody there. And it was a married couple. They never had kids, but they were up there in age. Like they were, I think at the time they were like in their late 30s or maybe early to mid 40s. Like it wasn't like a young couple. All right. But the wife looked good. And the wife was like, I wouldn't say trying to holler at me. I'm not trying to say that, but she was interested in having a conversation with me to get to know me more and to practice her English with me. All right. And the husband, I met the husband once, and that's when they picked me up from the train station. And then, I went over to the house. I stayed there for like 5 days, never saw him after that. Both of them were there to greet me at the train station and to bring me over. Other than that, I never saw him again. She was only there like by herself. So, he might have been out, handling street business. I don't know. But, it's a lot of sexless marriages out there. You can see it, you can feel it, pause, right? You hear about it, you see the stats. A lot of women are used as a baby maker over there. It's a patriarchal system. So it's like they damn near accept it. So the husband's out there paying for women of the night. Somebody other than my wife. We don't have sex. We just living together in a house and we're raising these kids. That's it. Right? They stayed together throughout life. While the husband's paying for an escort while the wife is registered as an escort on the website. And that's not everybody. That's not everybody. But in Japan, oh man, I want to go down the rabbit hole and look at more websites and look at the overall total number of women on there. Now, I'm pretty sure there's women with more than one profile on different sites, right? But I want to get a grand total of how many women are registered on all sites, right? And it might be in the hundreds of thousands. Okay. I was just about to say that. Usually after giving birth to a child, Asian wives refrain from sex and all the attention goes to the baby child. Yeah, so it's a different culture. All right. So like I said, it has not it's not all women. But that's a lot. That's a lot. I was just clicking around in different countries and I came across Japan. That was the only one that had like over, I'm like, damn, that many. That many. I didn't see any other website with more than like 200 or 300 girls on there. But Japan, oh, I'd have been shocked if it was over 1,000 women on there, but 10,000 of all age range. Could you imagine parents? They're thinking, okay, we're sending off our daughter to school. She's making us proud. She's getting good grades. She has her little summer job working at 7-Eleven. Sometimes I stop by just to say hello and, purchase some things from her just to see her grow and get older, stuff like that. Man, your daughter is doing it froggy style. She's offering uh bondage. She's offering bondage and role playing and girlfriend experience. She lists all the things she do in bed: sucking, licking, fingering, fisting. Right? You like, hey man, I'm proud of my daughter. Not even knowing she got a profile made with all the things she's willing to do with some money out there. Yeah, ain't even acceptable to complain about it. Yeah, the game is all messed up. Tommy Long, you absolutely, it is what it is. But I mean, it's the oldest profession in the world, right? It's just hidden in plain sight. All you got, it just see that kind of stuff you're not even really looking for. That's why you think it's messed up, but it's been there the whole time, right? But again, it's plummeting because of rapid population decrease. Yeah, it is. Per person, even the poor state, Mississippi is at 51,000. They are poor. Yeah, and they're not even thinking about, you would think, okay, if we're this poor and the yen is decreasing, then they should be they should be like living together for real. Like you should see more couples over there and then couples living with other couples in one home. So it's like three different couples living in one home. That's what they should do to survive. But no, everybody, what you're seeing is like nobody wants to have kids. Nobody wants to get married. It's a world full of singles over there now. You think they get together for survival? Nope. Feminism is wiping them out over there. That's really what it is. You could say, they're not just sexually active as, nah, man, that ain't it. It's feminism. I don't want a man, don't need a man, and I'll figure it out. That's what you're seeing over there now. But hey, you're entitled to do whatever it is that you want to do. You know. So this is what I'm gonna do. If you want to do a part two, we'll do a part two on Sunday. I need to get back to driving and focusing on the road. I'm I'm distracting myself right now. So I just wanted to make this short. I mean, 30 minutes was long enough, right? I just didn't want to leave y'all hanging. So I see you guys. Sunday. Take care. Be safe. Peace.